Hello everybody, my name is Oksana Rudko and I'm the founder of the knitted accessories brand Luxessory. In this video lesson, I want to show you how to make such a bag, Goldi bag, made of cotton cord with lurex. Of course, you can use any other cord or yarn which you like for this bag. For this work, we will need about 2 skeins, this cord. In each skein you have 105 meters and the width is approximately 7 millimeters. Usually I use less than 2 skeins, but I just recommend you to take 2. 1.5 you will need for sure. I'm going to use crocheting hook 4.5 millimeters. You can use any other hook that you are used to and which is good for your cord. We will also need several additional crochet hooks of smaller sizes. We'll need some knitting markers and of course a pair of scissors and a measuring tape. In this video lesson, I will show you how to make the bottom, how to make a trimming around it, how to make the sides of the bag so that they are neat, how to make this flap and attach it to the bag. I'll show you how to make, sew and sew in the lining. So let's get started. So we start our bag with the bottom. For this, we need to cast on 9 chains. First, I twist the cord like this, insert the hook. Here you see I have twisted the free ends. Insert the crocheting hook inside and make a knot. So we start casting on 9 chains. Make as tight as you can so that the bottom is thick. 1, 2, 3. Now I'll adjust the camera a bit more. And we go on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And one more chain we do for the next row to start the next row. It's a lifting chain, and now we go on working along with single crochets. So I'll show you how to make a single crochet. Insert the hook into the second stitch from the hook under the upper half loop. So it looks like this. And make a yarn over, pull it through the stitch and make a single crochet. And so we repeat the same in every stitch. Insert the hook under the upper half loop, grab the working thread, yarn over, make a single crochet. Now I'll adjust the camera so that you can see it clearly. Upper half loop, working thread through the chain and make a single crochet. And so we work till the end of this row. Here you try to make the gauge the same so that you have the same density in all the rows. This is true not only about the bottom but the work in general. Try to make your gauge the same. So now I have made 9 single crochets and we need to start the second row. To start the second row, we make 1 chain, 1 lifting chain at the beginning of the row. And so now we make single crochets in this row. Likewise, we work single crochets, but now to make a single crochet, we insert the hook into first opening here, you see, under both half loops. And work stitches like this, also single crochets. I'll try to show you a close-up so that you can see under both half loops like this. You see, you have a V shape on your hook and pull the thread, make a stitch. And so we work till the end of this row. Here you remember that you have to work rather tight so that the bottom keeps its shape. And so now you can see that here after the first row you have such an interesting place. It's not very clear where the stitch is because you have only a chain. So into this chain you also have to insert the hook. Now I'll try to show you a close-up again. You see this one, that is our last stitch, so don't skip it. Into this chain you see this V shape, pull the working thread, and usually at the end of this row I make a stitch a bit longer like this to make the row that is straight. So 2 rows are ready. And like this we have to make 24 rows in total. So each time you make a chain, turn your work, and then make 9 single crochets. All the same. Insert the hook under both half loops and make a single crochet. Make the first single crochet. In the first stitch we make a single crochet, and so we go on working till the end of the row, 1 single crochet under both half loops. So again we work till the end of the row. Remember that we make 24 rows and then I'll show you. Rows of single crochets. I finished the last one. "24 rows ready. Cut the thread, leaving a free end. On the wrong side we can hide this free end behind the stitches like this, and then sew it, and when you make a trimming you will just work around it. Like this. I'll leave it for now, we'll fix it better when we make the trimming. And we start trimming off the bottom. You can start it anywhere you like. I prefer to start here, closer to the corner, so that I can show you how we make it creases on the corners. So we'll start here, for example. Insert the hook, pull the working thread, make a loop, and make a single crochet. Ready. Now in every opening, here, every opening that you see, you make a one single crochet. And this free end, we leave it along the work so that when you work around it. And so you fix it at the same time. Find the next opening, make a stitch, and so in every opening, make a stitch. And so we fix this free end and make a trimming at the same time. In every opening. So now we are near to the corner. As here my gauge is very tight, it will be a bit difficult. We'll have to make 3 stitches. I'll take a smaller crochet hook, it will be easier to work with it, to make creases with a smaller hook. And make 1 single crochet, make nice stitches, pull it a bit taller. Then in the same opening we make the second stitch, make it a bit taller, and in the same opening make the third stitch. Now the corner is ready and we can just go on working the trimming all around the bottom. We make here a single crochet in every opening under each stitch. You can see it clearly, so you won't miss. Go on making the trimming. Pull the working thread and make a single crochet. Here you see I still have this little free end. You can already cut it or you can work around it. So I'll leave it and then I'll cut it. You can also sew the free end, but it's up to you. You can also work it inside and cut it. That will do. As here the cord is not slippery, then you can just cut it and that will be it. Now we are close to the next corner. Here as well, in one opening, we will make 2 creases. That will be 3 stitches. So here in the corner we make 2 increases. That means 1 single crochet, the second single crochet into the same opening, that's an increase, and 1 more increase, that is a single crochet into the same opening. So in each corner we will have 3 single crochets. And so we go on working the trimming. In every opening we make 1 single crochet. If you have any free ends here that you have to fix, you just work around them so that they stay inside the trimming. Or you can cut them and sew them with sewing needle. Also, please pay attention that when you make the trimming, it's enough to make a quite long loop here so that you do not get waves, because if you make it dense, you will make a wavy bottom. So here, rather loose loops will be okay. And we go on working till the end of the row. Here again, into the corner, we will make 2 increases. Be careful here, you need to find the right opening. Here it is. And into it we make 3 single crochets. 1, then 1 more opening here, which you see, if you follow this braid, that will be the first here, which goes along this edge. So here we also make a stitch, and exactly here we make 2 increases. 1, 2, and 3. And so we go on working till the next corner. In every opening, in every stitch, we make a single crochet. So let me see here. Again, here we are next to the corner. Here is this little knot where we have started, and a free end. So we will also include it into the trimming. Work around it. Make 2 increases. 1, 2, and 3. When you make the trimming, this thread you held tense and work around it. Till the end of the row, where we have started our trimming, that is here. Now I'm next to the beginning of the trimming. Now I'll show you how to join the beginning and the end of the trimming. We tighten this cord, pull it a bit, cut it, and now here we insert the hook into the first horizontal stitch here. We insert the hook from the wrong side to the right side and pull the working thread to the other side. Now here on this side we also have to return it to make the same loop, just like all the others. So we insert the hook wrong side to the right side here, enter this loop. Where this cord started, we return it exactly where this cord started, you see? Here, from this loop, exactly here we have to return it, so that it looks like all the other loops. So, on the wrong side, you insert the hook upwards, like this, under these half loops, back loop and one of the upper loops, and pull the working thread downwards. So what do we get here? Here we get a nice, neat and absolutely seamless finish. So here I'll hide it behind several stitches on the wrong side, and then you can cut it, sew it, just to make sure that it will stay put. And also this one. So now the bottom is ready. And now you have to press it with iron. How do we do this? We make a wet heat. We take iron with steam regime, then we put the bottom like this, put some cotton on it and press it with iron, or you could put it under some pressure. So I have made a wet heat for my bottom, and I have sewn all the free ends here. And now we can start making the sides. So how do we start the sides? We start here into any stitch, into the trimming. We insert the hook, again I haven't shown you. Here you see this braid, which is our trimming. You choose one loop, insert it like this from right side to wrong side by piercing through this back half loop, you see? This one. And pull the working thread to the right side. And make a single crochet. So this we repeat in every stitch. Insert the hook under. I'll make it. Insert the hook under this half loop and the back half loop into this braid, pull the working thread and push it to the right side. Here I have the free end. I also work around it so that I can hide it inside this row. And make a single crochet. Again. Insert the hook into the braid, pull the working thread and pull it to the wrong side, to the right side, that is. Work around the free end that you have to hide. And we repeat the same, and so we move all along till the corner. And now again I'll show you how to make the corner. Here we go on making trimming just like we did here on the side. Just make one single crochet in every stitch on the corner. I want to pay your attention to the corner, because here you have to make it a bit loose. When you make tight stitches on the corner, they will start turning inwards. So don't make them tight, make them soft. When you make these corner stitches, you make them slightly looser so that the corners will be soft and it will have the shape that you have seen on the photo. And of course, we all have our own gauge, so now you have to work for yourself. But if you follow the general rules, you will achieve the effect that I have shown you. And we go on working in the round. Here, have a look. You often get into one half loop, but you have to pierce it through both half loops, this one and the back half loop. If you have the same problem, if you have a tight cord, you can just take a smaller crocheting hook so that it's easier for you. Now I'll show you. I take a smaller crocheting hook, 3.5. Maybe that was okay. Let's take number 4 millimeters. It will be easier. Yeah, it's much easier. You see? If you have a tight cord, just take a smaller hook here on this row. That's it. So you go working in the round till the point where you have started, till the beginning of the trimming. Then I'll show you how we go on working. So we have reached the place where we have started the trimming for the sides. What do we do here? I changed the crocheting hook to normal 4.5 millimeters. You can even take a bigger one because here it is important to make the sides loose, to make them soft. So here we're going to work in spiral so that you don't have these naughty seam here, which will be if we were working in circles, if we were starting each new with a new row. So how do we work in spiral? We find the first horizontal stitch, this one, insert the hook. You can see the vertical one and above it a horizontal one. So under the horizontal one you insert the crocheting hook, pull the working thread like this, and work those two loops together. Remember that trimming we make very loose. And so we go on working. Likewise, insert the hook under both half loops like this and pull the working thread and through both loops on the hook. So we go on working in spiral. We work in the round, and we'll meet next when you come to the beginning. I'll show you how to work further on. So you have almost done this row, this round that is. Here was the beginning. I also wanted to pay attention that the corners you have to make loose. Here you have to make loose stitches so that you get a soft shape, especially on the corners. You will not get this soft rounded shape if you don't make the stitches loose. The more loose you make the stitches, the better it will be here. Of course, without big holes. So here pull the thread and make this loop somewhat bigger. So, and now I'll show you how you continue working in spiral. Here I'm next to the place where I have started. You see here. So it's really easy. You have the first stitch where you have started, the second row you make a stitch into it and go on working in the round. In every stitch you make a single crochet. So we start the second row. So we are going to make row after row like this in spiral, 18 rows. At the end of 18th row we'll meet again. I'll show you how to finish the round and how to go on working. So you have made 18 rows in spiral. Like this, we have made the sides of our bag. And now I'll show you how we finish the last row. We finish the row exactly where we have started, so you have to look here on the bottom and find this place here. For example, that is the last stitch. Then you insert the hook into the next stitch and make a slip stitch. So how we make a slip stitch? It's the last stitch, insert the hook in the next, pull the working thread and exactly through the loop at once. Through the loop on the hook, like this. Now pull the working thread, I have already cut it, just pull it like this. And to finish it nice, to make a seamless ending, we will make, I'll show you a close-up, we will make here into the next stitch, insert crocheting hook from wrong side to right side, push this free end to the wrong side, and then we have to make the same loop. So this thread we have to pull into this stitch. Do this from the wrong side, insert the hook, find it here exactly where the skirt have started, insert the hook, pull it here and to the wrong side. So here you see we get just a nice end to this spiral row. Here you can hide this free end behind several stitches on the wrong side. You can hide it there, or you can cut it and sew it with sewing needle and thread. It's up to you how you like it better. I'll show you how to hide it and I'll sew it later. And before we start making the flap for this bag, I want to make the sides, to give the shape to the sides. For this, we'll need some round clasps. I'm going to use this silver color because our bag is so soft you can easily fold it. We need to fold them like this, inwards on one side and on the other side. I usually do this visually, so I do not count the stitches, but here you can also count the stitches to make sure that you make it absolutely symmetrical on both sides. So I have already marked it. Here you look at the inside. Count here from the crease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 stitches here on this line. On one side and again 1, 2, 5, 6, yeah, 6. And 6 stitches on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's right. So you can fold it like this so that it is the same on both sides. So that's going to be one side. So now we need to fix it with this metal clasp. I open it. Approximately, you can skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Insert it under the upper 2 half loops. Then you insert it here, also insert it through the upper half loops. Also count 3 stitches like this. Then count 3 stitches here from the fold. 1, 2, 3. Insert the clasp. And on this side also find 1, 2, 3, the third, and insert the clasp here. Here you have this side. And here you can give it the shape you like. You could make it more rounded or less rounded. I like to make it rounded. puffy and nice. And all the same here on this side, fold it, make sure you have 6 stitches inside on both sides, and then insert the clasp into the 3rd stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, the 3rd stitch from the fold, 1, 2, 3. Likewise here, count 3, insert into the 3rd stitch. Also here, 1, 2, 3 here. And the 3rd stitch on this side. One, two, three. So the fold you can mark with knitting marker, so it's easier for you to make it symmetrical, but it's really easy to do like this without any markers. It's up to you again. So now our bag is almost ready. Now we have to make the flap for this bag. We cast on 17 chains and make back and forth single crochets. I also want to tell you that if you want to make the flap wider, you can make it as wide as you have here between the clasps. Here I have, for example, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20s. So you can make a flap 20 stitches wide, but I prefer to make it narrower, so I will make it 17 stitches wide. So you cast on 17 stitches or more and make the flap. Also, you have to pay attention that flap you make very tight, even tighter than the bag, the bottom I mean of the bag. You can take a smaller crocheting hook for this if you do not have a tight gauge. So we start like this first, and so here we cast on 17 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Ready. So you have cast on 17 chains. The 17 you can make a bit bigger and make one more to start a new row. I make the 17th stitch a bit bigger so that when you start the first row it looks nicer on the corner. So here we go on working the same pattern with single crochets, back and forth, insert the hook into the second stitch from the hook, you see, first, and you insert it into the second stitch from the hook under this upper half loop. Pull the working thread, make a single crochet. And so we work single crochets till the end of the row. Insert the hook, pull the working thread, and make a single crochet. You see, I insert the hook under upper half loop, this one. Pull the working thread and make a single crochet. So we work till the end of this row. We make a tight row. We have to make 20 rows. So again, pay attention that the amount of rows also may differ whether you want to make a longer or shorter flap and what size of your bag is. Because of course you're going to use a different cord, we are going to use different materials. For example, the size will be different, and then you have your personal gauge, so some work tighter, others work lighter. It's up to you. So here it's up to you. You can also contact me on social medias, on Instagram, Accessory, and ask what you do with certain cord. So we have almost finished this row. I'll show you how to make 2 rows, and then we'll meet when you have made 20 rows. So, the last stitch in this row, insert the hook, make a stitch, and make a chain to start a new row. Turn your work, and work backwards. And so we go back and forth. So insert the hook into the first. Here you can easily see where you have the holes where insert the hook, and make a single crochet into every stitch. Again, insert the hook in the next and make a single crochet. Try to make the same gauge and try to make the flap tight. If you see that your flap starts going in a wave, don't worry, you can also press it with iron and it will be nice and flat. Or put it under something heavy and it will also become flat. Work till the end of this row, and then you go on working till you have made 20 rows. Again, I want to pay your attention to the fact that here, the last 2 stitches, it's usually hidden. Here you can't see exactly where this loop was, so just don't forget about it. Here it is, you see, this opening, you have to make this loop, otherwise you will skip this last stitch. So don't forget it. Here you see, that is the last stitch where you also make a stitch under these 2 half loops. Pull the working thread, make it a bit bigger, make this loop a bit bigger to make a straight, nice edge. That's it. So let's meet when you make 20 rows. Make a chain, and so you work back and forth. And meet when you make 20 rows. So we have made a flap made of 20 rows. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20. 20 rows on the wrong side, where you see the edges, they are not paired, so you can count it as the wrong side. And this is going to be our right side, where you start with 2 by 2. You see, rows go 2 by 2. Now I will hide these 3 ends and carefully sew them. And also you have to press it with iron, because now you see its shape, it's not perfect, it's not perfectly flat, and then you can sew it to the back. So I have pressed my flap with iron. Now we have to sew it to the back. So how we do this? I choose the front part. Front part is where you do not have the transition row when we were making the spiral row here, this transition from one to the next. It will be the back, of course, and the better one, this one, will be the front part of the bag. So we put the flap. Yes, one more thing. The right side of the flap is where you see the pairs. You see the even numbered pairs. You see 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 rows, because on this right you have one row, then 2 rows like this. The pattern is slightly different. They will be the wrong side. So put it onto the bag like this, like you want it to be. Make sure it is symmetrical, that you have the same distance here and here from the clasps. Here I have about 3 and 3 here. I have marked them behind. So on the front part, you want to make the flap in one level with some of the rows, maybe like this, one will be better. Yeah, like this. So at this level, I prefer my flap to be at this level along one of the rows. And so now I turn it to the wrong side. Here I have already put markers where the flap will start and end. I have 3 loops, 3 stitches on the left and 3 stitches on the right from the clasp. This will help you to sew the flap right to place so that it is symmetrical on both sides. So I usually take crocheting hook to mark where I'm going to start. I'll insert it into the first stitch here. As you see it, as you see the opening, you find it here and pierce right under it into the bag. So it will be here, like this. You see, I just pierce it through the back. Hold it in place. I have already prepared a new cord. You take this free end, you go on holding the crocheting hook here and pull the thread. Make a loop from inside through the bag and through the flap. Then, with a slip stitch, we are going to attach the flap. Find the next opening here and the next opening onto the bag. And again, pull the working thread and make a slip stitch. Now you can tighten it at the free end. Here you have to work rather tight. So, and I'll take a bigger crocheting hook so that it's easier to work. So we go on working like this into every next opening, insert the hook and make 1 slip stitch. You can check yourself with this marker if it is still along the flap, but if you see it is like this, then it is wrong. You have to make sure that the flap will end exactly here, exactly where it has to be, so that the marker is on the edge of the flap. So here we can either skip 1 stitch or we can make a stitch in every one. We can skip, I mean some opening, not make a stitch into every one, but skip 1 if you see that you have to shift it a bit. I see that here, if I make it into every one, it will be shifted slightly just because the flap is made slightly tighter than the sides. So I will make 1 more stitch like this into the next one, and then I will skip 1. So I will skip 1 on the flap insert it into the next one, make a slightly longer loop here, and insert it into the next on the back. So you see on the back I do not skip anything, only on the flap. Like this I will keep the flap in place and symmetrical. So tighten this working thread. And next one, and so you go on. See my marker, yeah, I have to take a new one. I remember that it was the third loop here. So I'll attach it and close it so that it will not come off. So next. And again, my marker came off. I'd better close it, yes, so that it won't come off again. So put the marker and close the lock. Into the third stitch, and like this you can close it so that it will remain put. And so you go on working, attaching the flap symmetrically in the center. Make sure on the right side as well. Okay, if it is okay, then you can go on. Again, I feel that I have to skip one on the flap so that I do not shift the flap. But here I do not skip it on the back, so pay attention, I do not skip anything here. I enter into the next opening here. So here you see I have skipped one stitch at the beginning, and I have skipped one stitch here closer to the end to make sure it is symmetrical. And so we have almost finished attaching the flap. Here I have one more stitch left. I'll just pull it like this and check again on both sides if the distance is the same. And here in front, when you close the bag, if it is okay, whether it looks symmetrical on both sides. Okay, if the flap is okay, then you can cut this thread. Pull it to the wrong side, here it is, to the right side that is, and now we insert the hook from inside into the opening where we have made the last stitch. Here, pull it inside. Here Here you see into the same opening where you have finished the last stitch. Pull the working thread inside the bag. Here we will hide it under the stitches and sew it at this free end likewise. And then we can proceed to inserting the bag lock. For this bag I'm going to use a bag lock like this. Here you can open it like this. The upper part is attached to the flap and the lower part is attached to the bag itself. So the upper part I insert by the means of the bag lock that I insert here a flap into the opening with a screwdriver. And just use a screwdriver carefully to help me insert it onto the flap, like this, into this opening. And then there are nails, and I have already inserted the one, and I'll take another one and show you how I insert them. We need a little screwdriver here. And so you screw it into the place. Okay, that's it. So make sure that it is in the center, it is symmetrical, and everything is okay before you screw the nails, of course. Now we attach the lower part and try it onto the bag. Where should it be so that the flap is in place? Let's have a look whether it is okay, like this, along this row. Like this, approximately, yeah. So I have inserted this part of the lock into the bag. I have put these little metal plates on, and now I have to press these little pieces inside so that they hold the bag lock in place. It's hard to show it on camera. You see these little teeth, I press them inside so that they hold the bag lock on this pallet. One and the second, here and here as well. So this we have put into place. Now you can try the lock. Make sure you can open and close it. So our bag is almost ready. The bag is very nice and stylish. So now I want to show you how to insert the lining, how to measure the bag for the lining, and how to sew it into the bag. So to make a lining, we need to measure the bag. For measuring the bag, we'll have to undo the rings, so that you do not miss the exactly loops where you have inserted these clasps. We will put markers there, so you'll just return the clasp later. So as I take the clasp off, I at once insert a marker into this place so that I don't make a mistake later. So I'm going to insert a lining as a rectangle, and then I fold it double, make 2 seams, and insert it into the bag. So how do we measure the bag for the lining? Let's start from one of the markers, let's say from this one. we have to take measuring tape and start measuring along the edge exactly. Put it tightly to the side. Here all along the corners. And so carefully measure the circumference of the bag. And that's the marker where we have started. We see 62.5 centimeters. I'll put it down. 63, let's say 63. So the width of the bag will be 33 centimeters. As I'm going to make the linen like a rectangle, like this, and there will be the seams. It will be folded double and there will be two seams. It means that we have to divide it into two. We will get 31.5, and it will be the width of our fabric. So this side will be 31.5 centimeters. Of course, we need to add some seam allowances on both sides. That will be 1 centimeter here and 1 centimeter here. That will make it plus 2 centimeters, that is 33.5. The width of this rectangle will be 33.5 centimeters. Now we need to measure the length. How do we measure the length? So I start measuring right at the top and go down to the bottom, like this, along the bottom, all the way. To the other side. And so you get 42 centimeters. So the length of our piece of fabric will be 42 centimeters. Plus, we need to add seam allowances for folding the upper part. Here we will have to fold it. Here 1 centimeter and here also 1 centimeter plus 2 centimeters. That will make it 44 centimeters. So our piece of fabric, let's make it clear, will have the width of 33.5 centimeters and the length of 44 centimeters. So 33.5 centimeters here and 44 centimeters here. We cut such piece of fabric. Here I'm going to use such leopard fabric. I have cut the amount I need, so now I will make the seams and show you how we go on working and how we make the bottom. So that's our lining. I made 2 seams on the sides and I made 1 seam here on top, like this. So how do we make a nice bottom? We open the corner, as our bottom has shape of a rectangle. We need to measure it as well, of course. Here I'll start in one corner and here I have the width of the bottom about 8 centimeters. Yeah, about 8 centimeters. So now we need to find the place where on this lining you will have 8 centimeters line. So I open the bottom of this lining like this, so that the seam is in the middle. We need to make a seam that is 8 centimeters, 4 centimeters on each side. Fold it like this in triangle. Approximately, here it's better to use a ruler. 8 centimeters, so where will it be? 4 and 4, 8 centimeters. So that the seam is straight in the center here. So I'll put a sewing pin in place to mark where I have to make this seam. And again, let's check. Yeah, I'll put one more. So here I make a seam along this line. And the same on the other side, find a place where the seam will be 8 centimeters. Measure it here. 8 centimeters. Put the sewing needle. Here and there, make sure that you make a straight line. You can draw a line, of course. So here you have to make a seam. So you have already made your seams here. And now you need to insert the lining into the bag and sew it into the bag. So put it into the bag like this. If you have some tag like I have here, I usually put it in the center, so I fix it in center so that it will be right in the center like this. And then I go on inserting the pins. One pin into the side seam here. The other side. One pin. Approximately like this. Several more pins on this side. Approximately like this. I don't like to add a lot of pins, but you can add more, of course, several ones here and there. For me, it's enough. And then you start sewing the lining into the bag. I'll show you how I insert lining into the bag. So I take some black thread, the color matching the lining, and I'll show you a seam I'm using. It's absolutely seamless, so that you can also use it. So here we need to fix the thread on the bag. Into the loop. And it's fixed. Now you insert the needle right into the upper edge. So you see the edge of the lining. You have made a seam there. It consists of 2 layers of fabric. So we need to insert the needle into the fabric at the very top. Here, between those two layers, on one side and on the other side. And then make a little seam here, straight on top. You see? Straight on top of this fabric. Now, again, you make one seam into the bag. Here you can even pierce it through and make a seam on the right side. And into the same opening we return a bit further here for a new stitch. You see here it's absolutely seamless. And so we repeat. Make a little seam into the very upper part of this fabric, of its fold here. And again, make a seam into the back. Again, return it into the same opening here. And pierce a bit further. Try to make it an even line. Here you can follow one of the rows, it's really easy. And again, I'll show you. Like we pierce into the upper part of the fabric between the two layers. So find the upper edge of this fold. Pierce it through. I make seams approximately 5 millimeters each stitch. And then you sew it to the back, pierce it through. And return it. Here into the same opening and on the wrong side a bit further. And so like this you go on working, and then I'll show you how to return the clasps. So the lining is ready. And now it's high time to return the clasp. Make sure that everything is nice and neat and the seam is absolutely seamless on the right side. So we'll take the clasps again and insert them exactly where they were, where we have put the markers. Take off the marker and insert the clasp. Here it's better to take off the marker first and then insert the clasp. So one clasp is ready. Now let's insert the second one. So our bag is ready. That's the finished look. It looks very stylish and even festive. It's a perfect option for Christmas. So here you have to attach some shoulder strap and it's ready. Following the same principle, you can make a small bag and a big bag. You can make a shoulder strap. It depends on the size you make and what you want to make. I hope that you liked this video tutorial. It's my first video tutorial, so please share with me the results, follow me on social medias, and I will be happy to see your works. I invite you to join me on Instagram and share your work. There I show all the new models and new videos. And now there are a lot of the models which I'm going to make new videos and new video tutorials. So thank you everybody for watching this video. This was Oksana Rudko and I wish you much joy while making this bag. See you, bye!